Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today because we are about to embark on a really profound and just fascinating journey right into the center of your own mind. I mean, have you ever trusted a memory so completely that you would literally bet your life on it? Maybe it's the exact color of your childhood bedroom, or that time you and your sibling argued endlessly over who broke a vase 10 years ago, with both of you absolutely 100% certain of your own version of events. We rely on these memories to tell us who we are. But today, using some incredible insights from modern neuroscience, we're going to look at the hidden mechanics of the brain. And I promise you, by the end of this explainer, you will never look at your own past the same way again. Now, I want you to just listen to this question and really let it sink in. What if every single memory you have is actually slightly wrong? It's a chilling, almost eerie thought, isn't it? We base our entire reality, our grudges, our loves, the life lessons we've learned, on the assumption that our memory is an accurate ledger of the past. But what if that ledger is being secretly edited right behind your back? Let's unpack the science of why this happens. We all naturally fall for this specific myth. We think memory works like a video recording. We believe something happens, our brain stores it as a passive archive, and later you just hit play to get a perfect replay of the event exactly as it occurred. But neuroscience completely shatters this assumption. The reality is that your memories are not fixed archives at all. They are living, breathing reconstructions. They are incredibly flexible, and they're being continuously edited. All right, let's dive into section 1, the editor's room. We're going to look at exactly how emotion edits the past. So if it's not just playing back a video file, how does your brain actually go about reconstructing the past? What are the mechanics going on inside your head every time someone asks you, "Hey, how was your weekend?" Well, the brain doesn't pull up a single file. Instead, it rebuilds memories on the fly using all these scattered fragments. Your brain actively pieces together the experience in the present moment. It uses the emotion you felt, whatever your focus of attention was at the time, and the meaning you attached to the event. Then it weaves in your expectations, your current mental state, and, remarkably, even later experiences that happened way after the original event. Because it's piecing all these loose fragments together right now, the reconstruction is never going to be perfect. And out of all those fragments we just talked about, there's one that absolutely rules them all. Our source material gives us this brilliant metaphor. Emotion acts like a spotlight for the brain. Experiences connected to strong feelings, whether that's fear, joy, embarrassment, or grief, become much more memorable because your nervous system basically treats them as absolutely vital for your survival. This is exactly why emotionally intense moments often feel unusually vivid. But here is the critical catch. Vivid does not necessarily mean accurate. Strong emotion can skyrocket your confidence in a memory while simultaneously distorting the actual factual details. Now, the biological mechanism behind this editing process is a phenomenon called reconsolidation. Neuroscientists discovered that simply recalling a memory temporarily destabilizes it. Just by thinking about it, you take the memory out of long-term storage, and it suddenly becomes flexible and vulnerable to change before it's stored once more. It's this fascinating, incredibly cyclical process. First, you recall the memory. But the moment you do, it instantly destabilizes. During this flexible, vulnerable state, new emotions, new interpretations, or new details from your present moment get integrated into it. They literally edit the original experience. And finally, the memory is restored and locked away again, complete with those new edits. You don't even realize it happened, but the memory has completely changed. Actually, one of the strangest findings in psychology is how your current mood alters this retrieval process. If you're sad today, your brain actively searches for and pulls up negative, painful, and threatening interpretations from your past. But if you're happy, memory retrieval becomes more positive, and the brain searches for emotionally matching information. So the mood you're in right this very second is literally reshaping the historical facts you are able to pull from your past. But what happens when this highly flexible system goes wrong? Which brings us to section 2, distortion and false reality. This is what happens when memory fails. When we introduce extreme emotions, the distortion we've been talking about gets intensely magnified. Fear and trauma literally reorganize your experience around survival significance. Traumatic experiences are often remembered very differently over time because the brain prioritizes the emotionally important fragments needed to keep you alive in the future while totally suppressing less relevant information. As a result, some details become hyper-vivid while others just completely disappear.
It creates memories that are emotionally overwhelming, but factually incomplete. And this leads us directly to one of the most frankly disturbing discoveries in modern psychology: false memories. The brain can form utterly convincing memories of events that never actually happened to you at all. Experiments show that mere suggestion, the specific wording of a question, repetition, or social influence can dramatically alter your memory. It is absolutely wild to think about, but why does this happen? Well, it's because the brain values a coherent emotional narrative so much more than it values perfect historical accuracy. If a fake detail fits the emotional story of your life, it will feel totally authentic to you.
Okay, I want to just slow down for a second here. Let the gravity of this statement really sink in. Confidence is not proof of truth. Just because you feel an immense, powerful certainty about how an event unfolded does not mean it's historically accurate. Your confidence is often just a reflection of the emotional intensity attached to the memory, not its factual reality. This brilliantly illustrates how the brain continuously interprets reality emotionally. Take nostalgia, for example. It acts like a soft focus lens. It edits the past to soften painful details and amplify warmth, romanticizing reality to make it seem far better than it actually was. Regret, on the other hand, does the exact opposite. It exaggerates your mistakes and missed opportunities, making the past seem so much worse. Your brain doesn't just remember reality, it constantly, relentlessly interprets it. Moving on to Section 3, Meaning over History. We're looking at identity as a story. So, you might be wondering, why on earth did human beings evolve a memory system that is so prone to distortion, editing, and emotional bias? It seems like a massive flaw, doesn't it? The answer is survival. Memory didn't evolve so you could be a perfect, objective, historical archivist. The brain stores information strictly to help you predict future outcomes by constantly asking, what feels dangerous, what feels rewarding, who can be trusted, what should be avoided. Because of these survival priorities, the past is always filtered through meaning. You don't remember perfect history. You remember what those historical events mean for your future. And this deeply connects to how modern neuroscience views human consciousness itself. Consciousness is increasingly seen as a deeply narrative process. The brain actively edits your life into a coherent personal story. Memory provides the raw material, emotion provides the significance, and together they shape your personal reality into an ongoing, constantly unfolding narrative. Which leads to a beautiful, though maybe slightly dizzying realization: your very identity depends on emotionally reconstructed memories, not objective history. The stories you tell yourself about your childhood, your past relationships, your failures, and your successes, these make up who you believe you are. But because your memory constantly changes, your identity changes too. You aren't a static fact. You're a living, evolving story. Ultimately, the mere act of remembering rewrites the memory itself. And honestly, what's wild is that this is happening to you right now. As you watch this explainer and think back on events in your own life to see if this science applies to you, your brain is quietly opening those files, destabilizing them, and subtly rewriting parts of your past based on the new insights you are learning right at this very moment. Which leaves us with this final, stunning question to ponder. Knowing everything we've uncovered today about the editor's room, reconsolidation, and emotional spotlights, are you remembering your past or recreating it? Every retelling subtly reshapes your experience. The story of your life feels stable, but beneath the surface, it's a magnificent, continuously updating masterpiece. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this has sparked your curiosity to look a little closer at the amazing stories your mind is telling you.